Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, continue to breathe in and breathe out. And start to become increasingly aware of any feelings of tension or stress in your body. Notice as you slow down the breathing, the breaths become longer. And as they become longer and slower, you notice that you're breathing in more oxygen, but also you're exhaling more of that carbon dioxide. But I want you to get a sense that you're not just breathing in oxygen. I want you to imagine you're breathing in a feeling of resourcefulness. Whatever resources you need most right now, imagine that's what you're breathing in. And maybe there's a desire to breathe in a feeling of motivation. And you already know that real motivation isn't a fleeting feeling, a moment of temporary inspiration to do something difficult. Real motivation comes from the motive, the why. So as you breathe in that feeling of motivation, I want you to ask yourself the question, why? And to help you think of the why, sometimes it's useful to use the power of your imagination to entertain a future without that motivation. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine that if you never activate the level of motivation that exists within you, if you never activate the level of confidence that exists within you, if you only reach a fraction, a low percentage of the overall standard it's possible for you to meet, I want you to get a sense that that future is a future of mediocrity, not compared to what most people achieve and live like. I want you to imagine it's a future of mediocrity compared to what you're capable of. And maybe the answer to the question why is because you know you feel at your best when you are at your best. There's been moments in the past where, because of your intellect, because of your previous accomplishments, you've been able to glide and coast and do what you've been able to get away with. But when you felt really significant, when you felt those flow states, when you felt aligned, it's because you were reaching 100% of your capacity. So as you breathe in that feeling of motivation, realize the key motivation comes from striving to be your very best. And your very best was able to go toe-to-toe with the very best in the world. So I want you to imagine what it would be like. What it would be like to be the very best version of you in an environment where the competition is different. I want you to imagine what it would be like if you were a Premier League footballer that wore a disguise and turned up and played Sunday League football in a pub team. Or if you were an NBA player and just randomly started playing basketball on a playground court. The fact that you have played with the very best and are then in an environment that aren't used to seeing the very best would make you a superstar. As you hold that thought of what it can be like for you to tap into you being at your very best, I want you to recall the time where you were exercising a lot, working out a lot. I want you to remember not the first day and not the last day, but right in the middle of a routine where you were working out for a significant amount of time every day. You felt fit and healthy and strong. You got into that rhythm, that frequency. And I want you to imagine you're doing some kind of cardio exercise, maybe on a treadmill, on a rowing machine, maybe going for a run outside, and doing what we all do when we're in that state of flow, exercising and drifting off into a trance. Imagine you're doing the exercise while just getting lost in your own imagination as I communicate powerful suggestions to your unconscious mind about what exercise can mean to your motivation and confidence in this crucial chapter in your life. This is the training montage chapter, the transition between the challenge and the opportunity. The part where you get to cultivate the resources and qualities within you to lay the foundations for the next chapter of accomplishment and success. Imagine doing that cardio activity and being open to new suggestions, holding on to the ones that are helpful and discarding those that aren't. As you engage in regular exercise, your motivation and confidence grows stronger with each passing day. But imagine that doing the exercise is giving you the motivation and confidence you need to pursue exciting career opportunities, knowing that you have the skills and capabilities to not just do okay, but to achieve and succeed at a level never seen before. Each time that you exercise, you feel a surge of motivation and energy that propels you forward in your career, whether that's seeking an opportunity or making the most of an opportunity. Perhaps you could imagine no longer doing cardio, but maybe lifting weights. And as you lift the weights, accept the suggestion. You aren't just getting physically stronger, you're getting mentally stronger. Your exercise routine serves as a catalyst for increased self-confidence and a positive mindset, creating a solid foundation for pursuing the most lucrative and rewarding career for you. With every workout session, you strengthen your belief in your own abilities. I want you to get a sense that exercising regularly is a commitment, just as working on your own skills, your own abilities. So your commitment to exercise reflects your commitment to your personal growth, but also to your investment in your career and your future. Exercise fuels your creativity and mental clarity, allowing you to generate innovative ideas. And don't be surprised that during exercise is where you get your very best ideas to move your career forward or to add value to the clients that you work with. I want you to imagine you're in Thailand, 3 hours into rigorous exercise. It's tough, it's hard, it aches, but it also feels good, and it feels good because you're out of your comfort zone. I want you to accept that exercise becomes a source of inspiration, reminding you that you have the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacles that come your way. The physical and mental benefits of exercise amplify your confidence, empowering you to step out of your comfort zone and seize opportunities. I want you to think about what it means to exercise. There are people that turn up at a gym and they just walk on the treadmill, or they do the same exercises every time at a very low weight. They're just turning up. And maybe there's been times in your career where you just turned up. But I want you to remember the times in your career where you had to work harder than ever before. You had to understand things you didn't understand. You had to find a way through what looked like an impossible obstacle. And therefore, I want you to accept that exercise becomes a metaphor for overcoming challenges, for thriving outside of your comfort zone. If you can lift a weight that 2 weeks before you couldn't, then you're stronger and more capable than you were before. That also applies in your work environment. To get you match fit, you'll have to go outside of your comfort zone. And sometimes that will be voluntarily going outside your comfort zone. Many people will do what they're told in their work environment, but when they exercise, will try and incrementally increase the challenge. There are people that get stale in their careers but get fitter and stronger because they go outside of their comfort zone, setting new goals, new challenges when it comes to exercise, but in their career just doing what they can get away with. I want you to accept the suggestion that you're no longer interested in getting away with anything, of coasting, of gliding. The real feeling of pride and accomplishment, satisfaction, comes from growth. It comes from doing the thing you couldn't do before. I want you to imagine that this exercise is no longer in your past, it's now in your present and your future. I want you to imagine it's been 3 months of daily exercise. Sometimes in a gym, sometimes walking or going for jogs, sometimes swimming or something else. And I want you to get a sense that you feel more motivated, you feel more confident, but most of all, it's starting to change your identity of how you think about yourself. It doesn't take a lot to become the top 1% of exercise, because the vast majority of people stopped exercising when they left school. But to become the top 1% of all the people that do exercise requires a commitment to growth, to progress, to goals. I want you to tap into that feeling of being halfway through a rocky montage of transformation, starting as you were and moving towards the person you want to be. Strong, confident, resilient, motivated, full of confidence and charisma. The way you walk, the way you talk exudes confidence. And some of that confidence comes from doing difficult things that you know most people wouldn't want to or be able to do. Tap into that wonderful feeling and realize that exercise can also regulate your emotions. The endorphins released during exercise invigorate your mind and body, creating a positive mindset that supports this new chapter in your life. But most of all, your exercise serves as a constant reminder of your unlimited potential and your capacity for growth, fueling your motivation to be the best version of you possible. I want you to imagine what it would be like to imagine it's day one of a brand new role, a new firm, and imagine that you're looking at yourself in the reflection. Maybe you see yourself wearing a suit, but I want you to see that your body shape and facial expressions is showing you someone that is strong, confident, full of self-belief, sky-high confidence and self-esteem, knowing they are set to make waves in this new firm. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. As you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, feel like you're returning to the present, listening to my voice at this point in time. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling motivated, feeling resourceful, but most of all, feeling a desire to do what's necessary to become the version of you that you are capable of becoming. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.